It feels good to be 2-0 as the Raiders look to stay undefeated against the New England Patriots. Head coach Jon Gruden breaks down the dual threat challenge that is Cam Newton. And we go one-on-one with the star of Monday Night Showdown against the Saints. That's right, tight end Darren Waller joins us today. Raider Nation, welcome to week 3 of the Silver and Black Show, presented by Cox. I'm Erin Coscarelli, alongside my all-pro tackle Lincoln Kennedy. Before we break down this week's matchup against the Pats, I haven't seen you since before Monday Night Football, and of course, you know I need to get your biggest takeaway from that Monday night matchup.
Absolutely impressed with Derek Carr's accuracy. You know, he completed 28 passes for almost 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, Aaron. And there were a number of times during that game where Derek threw receivers open. The touchdown to Zay Jones, the 22-yard grab to Edwards, even the 17-yard grab to Renfro, he threw the receivers open. His accuracy made a difference because the Saints, as you know, have a pretty good secondary.
There's a lot to talk about when it comes to Derek Carr's confidence and what you saw from the first quarter compared to the next 3 quarters in that game. But let's stay with keeping pace with the Chiefs, because now the Raiders are 2-0 in the AFC West. And of course, how important is it to start off the season undefeated like this?
It's always rewarding to have win games that people didn't really predict you to win. I think people expected the Raiders were going to be able to be challenged by Carolina, but should win the game. A lot of people counted the Saints coming in here and beating them on Monday night, and the Raiders proved that differently. So building confidence with wins is a whole lot easier than with losses.
Absolutely. And now 2-0 in a new market. What is the importance of starting strong in a market like Las Vegas?
Everyone loves a winner.
Yeah.
And everyone loves new things. So the fact is that, you know, fans can't come to Allegiant Stadium, but there were still a lot of fans in the streets of Las Vegas over Monday night over the weekend, and that's going to be prevalent throughout the season. So as long as you win, you keep everybody happy.
There is literally no better person to talk about how big of a deal this is than with, of course, my tackle, Link. The struggles that the Raiders have had to overcome when it comes to the offensive line. Missing 3 starters. Richie Incognito goes out in, I think, the first quarter. The 4th-round rookie, and John Simpson steps up and has to stop the likes of Sheldon Rankins. That D-line has Cam Jordan. I mean, that's anxiety. That is stressful. What do you think, in terms of your experience being on an offensive line, the ones that you've been on in the course of your career, that the Raiders have managed to step up and overcome the adversity when it comes to the offensive line?
Well, first of all, you have to tip your hat to Coach Cable, the offensive line coach. I mean, it's definite the fact that he's had all of his guys prepared. And look, when you come into the season the way it was, with no preseason and really limited offseason, you had no idea that you're going to be stressed this way, this early. And so, you know, having young guys have to step in and fill in a positive way, that's another reward of being 2-0. You know what I mean? Because your offensive line took care of business.
Yeah, I mean, it was just crazy because Derek Carr was sacked 3 times in the first quarter and then remained untouched the rest of the way. And, of course, all of these injuries adding up, no Trent Brown, lost Tyrell. I mean, you know, that was your deep threat. And they've managed to overcome with these 2 rookies on the outside. Let me ask you this. Do you believe these injuries are adding up because of no preseason, or is this just the nature of the game?
I do. No preseason and no active hitting before you start playing games, I think, has added up and has taken its effect on this team as well. Just around the league, everyone in general.
Derek Carr, of course, having a lot of time in the pocket. Is this something that just comes with 3 years with Jon Gruden? You're seeing a new confidence in Derek Carr. I mean, no turnovers. And he's rather than throwing an interception, he's taking the sacks. Are you seeing a little bit more of a confident Derek Carr?
Well, Derek's always been confident, but I think that what we see more now, Aaron, especially in the New Orleans games, you saw adjustments. You saw adjustments as the game went on. No longer was he sitting there looking for routes down the field. He was throwing a lot of shorter routes. He got the ball out of his hands quicker, and it's a team effort. Receivers get open, offensive line protects, and quarterback finds them. And as I said early in the show, I was impressed with Derek Carr's accuracy. I mean, there were so many times in that game where he just blew my mind. He was putting the ball in the only place where he could, and the receivers were coming down with it with great catches.
With such young guys. I mean, you've got rookie wideouts, and, of course, Josh Jacobs in his second year. nightmare. And yet this offense seems very veteran-like when being faced with the adversity that they're being faced with. Don't go anywhere. Of course, we are going to break down this weekend's matchup against the Patriots. But coming up, of course, he lit up the gridiron in prime time. I'm talking tight end Darren Waller. He talks with us coming up next. Don't go anywhere.
Allegiant Air, the official airline of the Las Vegas Raiders. Cox Business, proud partner of the Las Vegas Raiders. Coors Light, an official beer of Raider Nation, made to chill. San Manuel Casino, official Southern California casino of Allegiant Stadium.
What's up, Raider Nation? Professor Kennedy here with this week's offensive line breakdown. A lot of people have asked me what goes in through the communication from Rodney Hudson to Derek Carr and the rest of the offensive line. So we took this play out of Monday night, and we're going to break it down. When the offensive linemen come up to the line of scrimmage, they're in charge of what we call the four bigs and the mic. In this instance, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 down linemen and 1 mic linebacker. So those 5 have those 5 in any combination. Rodney's going to communicate that 56 is the linebacker. That way Gabe and John Simpson both know who they've got. Now the internal triangle becomes these 3 block those 3. Now, Josh Jacobs is going to take the outside man, so he has anything that's coming left from the perimeter. In this case, he's going to block Janoris Jenkins. The blitz pickup acts this way because these 5 are going to work together to block any combination that these 5 are going to present. Let's start the film. Now you see Rodney Hudson give the hand signal to Derek. So now Derek knows that 56 is picked up. He's got protection and everybody's lined up so he can throw the ball downfield. As the play starts, watch the linebacker come downhill. The center and the 2 guards do a great job at switching off the game. Jacobs does a great job of picking up his responsibility, which leaves Darren Waller isolated on man-to-man coverage, and Derek Carr throws a quick slant route for a big-time gain. That is huge communication from the offensive line and the quarterback. More importantly, you see the guys working together to keep Derek Carr clean.
Well, no one on the Saints D had answers for this guy. 12 catches, 103 yards, and a score. Darren Waller certainly dominated on Monday night, and he joins us now. You certainly had a career day in prime time. It is good to see you, Darren.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, let me ask you this. What was going through your mind Monday night when you absolutely gave New Orleans so much trouble?
I mean, it just felt like practice, just carrying over the same habits, just trying to win one rep at a time, carry that over to the game, and it worked.
Yeah, it definitely worked, that's for sure. You are what people call a matchup nightmare. For you personally, though, what would you say is the difference between going up against a defensive back as opposed to a linebacker?
I guess you got to realize what skills you use against certain people, certain matchups, whereas a linebacker, you can get away with speed most of the time, but with a DB, you got to be more technically sound. You got to not give away your breaks, telegraph your stems, things of that nature. You got to be more technically sound against the DBs. Some DBs you can run away from too, but just got to be technically sound with whoever you go against.
Describe your chemistry with DC, because it seems like the offense is clicking on all cylinders, and this is without a preseason. Are you surprised at all at how well your team is gelling together without a preseason and having young rookies on the team?
I'm not really surprised. There was a real solid group of guys that were out here in Vegas, and we were working out at parks and things together, really putting in work. Like with Derek, we were throwing, like 4 times a week since April and things of that nature. So the work was being put in. We weren't rusty, so that I feel like that work, that time that we put in is paying off now.
It certainly is, and you're definitely not showing any rust, and you won't be able to, of course, because of this week's matchup. Head coach Bill Belichick says you will be a big challenge for them. The Patriots, of course, are known for trying to take away their opponent's best player. Are you prepared at all to see a possibility of a lot of double coverage in Foxborough?
I'm prepared to see anything really. If it's corners, safeties, brackets, double teams, just got to be ready for it all and just be able to adjust on the fly, because they do a good job of making you think they're going to do one thing and showing you something different. So I just got to be prepared to adjust.
Certainly we're prepared on Monday Night Football. This is very cool, by the way. You are hosting your first ever annual Beyond the Wall fundraising gala here in Vegas. Can you tell us a little bit about your event?
Yeah, so it's the first foundation event for the Darren Waller Foundation. Just trying to get the energy going, get people to know what we're trying to do, what kind of impact we're trying to have on the community, the programs we're going to be putting in place, and just, getting people on board with my vision for, really educating and equipping the youth with tools to choose other routes than drugs and alcohol. So just really getting the ball rolling.
It sounds very cool, Darren. Can you expand a little bit about the impact that you do want to have on this community?
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of substance abuse going on in this Clark County area in the state of Nevada. There's not a lot of education about it going on in these school systems. So I just want to, let them know that there's other ways to cope with stress, fit in, be cool, than using drugs and alcohol. You can be yourself and bet on yourself, and those things will come to you. You don't have to chase them. You don't have to strain to do things that you don't necessarily want to do. You can be yourself and still deal with stress, deal with anything in life without having to go that route. So that's the impact I want to have.
Very cool indeed. Your very first ever annual Beyond the Wall fundraising gala next Monday. Where can people learn a little bit more information about it?
You can go to darrenwaller.org. It has information on the events, how to donate, anything you're really looking for as far as the foundation is concerned.
Darren Waller making an impact off the field and, of course, on the field. Thank you very much for joining our show, and good luck this week against the Patriots.
3rd and 9. They can get a first down still. Here's Carr. Take a shot. Why wouldn't you? And it is caught. Waiting for the signal, and it is a touchdown. At least the celebration is on. Zay Jones.
Well, the Raiders quarterback not having any trouble finding Zay Jones in the end zone. With that, let's welcome in our quarterback, 2-time Super Bowl winning QB, Jim Plunkett. Jim Plunkett, good afternoon to you, sir.
No, same to you, Erin. How are you doing?
We've got a lot to get into here, of course. First, though, I need to get your thoughts on how big that first win was for not only the Raiders, but for the city of Las Vegas.
No, it was huge. I mean, it was a fantastic game by, almost everybody on the field. The offense moved the ball consistently up and down the field. Derek Carr had an exceptional game, in my opinion. The running game was strong enough to keep the other team off balance. A lot of good things were happening on that opening game in Las Vegas.
Yeah, you liked what Derek Carr did. Back-to-back games, Derek did not have a turnover, and through 2 weeks has been incredibly efficient, a third down conversion rate of 54%. And what do you attribute that success to, Jim?
Well, he's another year in the league. Maybe he's really found himself. It's early to say some of those things, but I think he's a better quarterback today than he was 5 years ago, maybe a year ago or 2 years ago. Yep. A lot of experience under his belt. The running game is good and solid, giving him an opportunity to do play action and not have to throw when in a lot of bad situations. The defense is making a lot of good stops, although they're giving up a few yards here and there. When they have to make a stop, they seem to find a way.
Yeah, absolutely. That third down conversion rate, by the way, is third best in the league. And of course, being in your third year with John Gruden certainly helps. I have to ask you this, though. Not 5, not even 10. 11 different players caught a ball from Derek Carr. What does that say quickly about this offense?
Well, I think it's diversified. You can't concentrate on any one player because somebody else is going to hurt you. And I think that's a real plus going into the season. And it's a real plus for the Raider offense.
Jim, thank you so much for joining us. We will see you again, of course, every Silver and Black show.
You bet.
All right, well, the Raiders have officially put the league on notice as they took care of business at home against a Super Bowl favorite. JT the Brick catches up with Coach Gruden on his historic win in primetime and looks ahead to see what lurks in New England.
Monday Night Football primetime. Take me through the night, the celebration, and how you been this week.
Well, it was exciting, no doubt, to play in that stadium for real. Our guys didn't start well, JT. We fell behind 10-0, but we knew it was going to be one of those prize fights in Las Vegas. We knew it was going to go 15 rounds. And I credit our coaches and players for hanging in there, weathering the storm, and getting a big victory for our team.
Coach, the way it looked on TV, I know you went back and looked at it. Mrs. Davis lighting the torch in memory of Val Davis. What a nice touch by Mark Davis.
Phenomenal. And for the fans out there, when you see this stadium and what the torch stands for, it is honestly, it sends chills up your spine. But it was really cool to see Mrs. Davis there, and to open the season with the win at home was very special.
Coach, let's get into offensive line depth. Richie Incognito went out early in that game, and again, next man up. The depth on your offensive line has been a big topic so far this year.
Yeah, next man up, that's getting ridiculous, to be honest with you. You know, we're missing our 2 right tackles. Now we lose our left guard. But you got to credit Tom Cable and the offensive line for stepping up. John Simpson, a rookie from Clemson, came in and played about 65 snaps at left guard, and we got it done. And it was a collection of a lot of guys playing different positions, but they worked together. And I really give Rodney Hudson, our team captain at center, a lot of credit as well.
Coach, we're going to look at some tape here. Let's look at Darren Waller first, running routes and how you're positioning him and lining him up so far this year.
Yeah, well, Waller is not a tight end. He is probably the most complete, versatile player I have coached. You can see him play in the backfield here. He catches a pass on short yardage. Now you see him at the bottom of the screen playing the F tight end, running a deep cross. We can put him in the slot. We can put him outside. We can put him in the backfield. I don't even know where he's lining up half the time, but he can play X, Y, Z, F, H, you name it. He is a freak of a football player, and he can also block, and that's one of the reasons why we won this football game.
Coach, let's get to Cam Newton. That game on Sunday night in Seattle was something. It looks like he's getting bigger and stronger. He is a running threat. He can throw it. You've talked about this guy for years. Let's get into Cam Newton and what he poses to you and your coaching staff.
Well, obviously, he can throw the ball, and he can make all the passes you can ask a quarterback to make from the pocket. So you got to prepare to stop him as a passer. They still have Julian Edelman. They've got an array of receivers that can play. And you got to prepare for Josh McDaniels, one of the best offensive coordinators. But it's the running threat, the designed runs, the read options, the 3rd and 2 to 3 quarterback-driven offense that he gets on the ground you can't account for. And when he does scramble, he's hard to bring down. He looks like a power forward. So we're going to have our hands full with Newton, but we've had a good start to our preparation, and we're looking forward to the challenge.
Well, we're going to stay with Julian Edelman because I look at the history of Wes Welker, Amendola, and now this guy. What do? Do you hit him at the line of scrimmage? Do you give him a cushion? He gets open. He puts up big numbers. He's a target, and he looks like he's Cam's favorite target this year again.
Well, he's there, Darren Waller. Not that he's a tight end, but he plays everywhere. You'll see him in the backfield, coming out of the backfield as a receiver. He's in the slot. He's outside. He's in the bunch formations. I mean, he's a hard guy to find, so you don't know how to get to him. And they have a lot of different patterns and usages for Julian Edelman. He is a great competitor, and Joyner and our slot receivers got to be ready, but so does our entire defense. He's also one of the premier blockers in football at the wide receiver position.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck on the road trip.
Thanks, JT.
The Raiders head back to the East Coast as they look to go 3-0 against the Patriots in Foxborough. What's going to be the key to victory? We break down that matchup next.
Coca-Cola, the official soft drink of the Las Vegas Raiders.
You know, they're a very impressive start that they've had. Coach Gruden, has done an outstanding job, really, of putting this team together in a pretty short amount of time, both from a personnel standpoint, coaching staff, and just the way that he's been able to get the players to do the things that I know he believes in and what he wants them to do. Good opportunity for us here, good test. Be a big challenge for us to compete with these guys, but we're getting ready for it, looking forward to it.
Welcome to the Silver and Black Show. EC Link back with you. It's not going to get any easier for the Raiders, who not only head back to the East Coast, but on a short week with a bit of a banged up offensive line. Forget the opponent, Link. How difficult is this task at hand for the Raiders?
It's always hard when you throw your routine off with a Monday night game or a Thursday night game because it just throws your schedule off. So now you have the injuries compiled with short week and then having to travel back east. It's not going to get any easier. But there are no easy wins. This is why the rigors of the NFL is often tough and difficult for a lot of people to overcome.
No Tom Brady.
No Tom Brady.
But now they have a Cam Newton,
who's a beast.
What new set of challenges does this beast hold for the Raiders?
This is a very young team. The Raiders are a very young team. They've never experienced a 6'5", 250-pound quarterback. It's on paper it's ridiculous when you look at his stats and what he's capable of. But the fact is, since the Patriots are a run-oriented team and he's a big part of that run offense, every would-be tackler from the defensive line to the secondary has to be prepared on how difficult it is for him to bring him down.
You know, when the Raiders travel to Foxborough, they have a little trouble. They haven't been able to win since 1994. What is it about the Patriots as a whole and going to Foxborough that seems to give the Raiders a little bit of trouble?
Aside from my conspiracy theories that go in there, we won't throw that.
Sure
It's a difficult place to play, and I've had many games there. It is a real difficult place to play.
Well, okay, finish the sentence. The key to victory will be
controlling the time of possession like they did in the Saints game.
That's right.
Okay, and being balanced. You can't be one-dimensional against Bill Belichick. He's a defensive genius, the sound mind. Who'll take one of your aspects away, so you got to be balanced on offense.
They did have trouble stopping the run against Seattle,
Yes.
and you're seeing that potentially that might be a good thing for Josh Jacobs. Start him in your fantasy lineup. I will be doing that. All right, well, thank you so much for joining us, Lincoln. It is always so much fun to break down the matchup ahead. The Raiders have another tough task against the Patriots in New England. I'm Erin Coscarelli for Lincoln Kennedy and Jim Plunkett. Thank you guys at home for watching the Silver and Black Show. We will see you every Thursday to break down the week ahead.
Allegiant Air, the official airline of the Las Vegas Raiders. Cox Business, proud partner of the Las Vegas Raiders. By Coca-Cola, the official soft drink of the Las Vegas Raiders. By Twitch, the official live streaming platform of the Las Vegas Raiders.